Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about the pilot episode of Superman and Lois. That's right, season 1, episode 1. I guarantee you this will get a season 2. I don't know if that was announced already, but if the quality of this show continues on, this could be the best Arrowverse show period, because wow, it felt like a movie at times, I'm gonna tell you. And I said those words maybe a long time ago when Arrow and Flash first started. They felt like mini movies, but this one even more so, I think. The special effects look a lot better than a regular CW show. The acting was really great in this show from Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch. I thought Elizabeth Tulloch, when she was introduced in the Arrowverse 2 seasons ago in the Elseworlds crossover, I thought she was good, and I thought she was good again in Crisis on Infinite Earths. I never thought she was great. Like, she's not going to become my favorite Lois Lane. This pilot showed me, oh, she has potential to be one of the best Lois Lanes. Because I really thought she was great. I thought the material they were giving her was great, and I thought Tyler Hoechlin. I really liked Tyler Hoechlin as soon as he was introduced back in Supergirl season 2. So him, I was already on board with. I wasn't too sure what to think of these two kids, but before I get into a little bit of that, the kids, let's get into the how the show started. The show started very quickly with introducing us to the origin of Superman, but they get all of that out of the way in the first 5 minutes of the episode, right? They show us the origin, him crashing, Kent's finding him. They even show us Jonathan Kent getting a heart attack. Obviously, a little bit differently than how Smallville or any other interpretation of Superman has shown us before. But right in the beginning here, I can already see, okay, this show already has a different feel from the different all the Arrowverse shows. Like, it's clearly very different from Batwoman. It's clearly very different from Arrow. Maybe a little bit more similar to Supergirl and Flash in some way. Not too much. There is something different about it. Like I said, I think there is something in quality about it that is definitely giving a slightly different vibes than those shows are. And I will be interested to see when it decides to acknowledge the rest of the Arrowverse, because we do know that David Ramsey, who played what's his name, John Diggle from Arrow, he is going to be appearing sometime this season. So how, when they start referencing the rest of the Arrowverse, if they do, that episode in particular will definitely acknowledge the Arrowverse, because John Diggle is a very big character from Arrow. It will be interesting to see how they integrate that into this show. Because I do have some questions about something that happens at the very end. So we see his origin. We even get to see a replication of the cover of the very first Superman issue from Action Comics, sorry, #1, where you see Superman lifting up the green car, and they actually had Tyler Hoechlin in the original Superman outfit from the comics, with, instead of the red and yellow emblem on his chest, it's the red and black emblem, just like how the original design of Superman was. So I thought that was really fun and clever. And then they obviously show him meeting Lois for the first time and how they fell in love and all that. Because we never really got to see that in the Arrowverse. When we were first introduced to Lois and Superman, they were already established at being together, possibly even being married. I think they hinted at that in season 2. And then season 3 is season 4 of Supergirl, when they brought Lois in for the first time for that crossover, the Elseworlds crossover. That's when they acknowledged that a baby was on the way. And then in the following season, in the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, we see baby Jonathan is already born. But then after that crossover is done, we hear that, and to Superman's surprise, he has 2 children. Because remember, in Crisis on Infinite Earths, Oliver restarted the universe. So he created this whole universe where now Flash and Supergirl and the Legends and Black Lightning and Batwoman, they all exist on this one Earth now. There's no more of the, well, there's other Earths still out there, but like the CW shows are all on one Earth together, and Superman is now part of that Earth too. So we got to see a little bit of that history that we never got to see before, and that even Clark never knew about before, because now instead of Jonathan being a baby, he's now a teenager by this point, and he has another son named Jordan, who is also a teenager because they're twins. And we got to see a little bit of their lives. Like Jonathan is the more he's a successful teen or son who's like a jock in school. He's like the star football player, if you will. And Jordan is a little bit more. He like has anxiety disorder, so he's a little bit more social, antisocial maybe. Something that I think there's a lot of people out there that could maybe relate to that a little bit, like myself. I'm not that much antisocial, but I can be a little bit. So we see the problems and the good and the bad that comes from Superman now having a family. And then we are set in modern day, where we find out that Morgan Edge, who I don't think has appeared in any of the Arrowverse shows. I was trying to remember if he appeared in Supergirl, but I don't think he did. He bought out the Daily Planet, so Perry White is no longer in charge. It's now Morgan Edge who now holds the Daily Planet, and Clark gets fired because of him. There's some layoffs happening, and Clark is one of the people that are laid off from the Daily Planet. So they get a call from a doctor, or Clark gets a call from a doctor later on saying that something's wrong with Martha. And right away, Clark just zooms to Smallville. No questions asked, because it's his mother. It's the only family he has left. Well, not counting his kids and his wife. Martha, the last parent that he has, physical parent, gone. He finds out that she has passed away with a stroke. And this episode was really emotional. There were some episodes of Arrow and Flash and Supergirl that could be a little emotional, but this was the one where I was like really feeling it all the way through. The emotional moments throughout this episode with the kids, with this scene, even the scene seeing Jonathan get a little bit of a heart attack. That was pretty sad, man. That's where I was saying, okay, there's something different about this pilot than some of the other shows have done in the past. I'm really loving this. Like they take their time a little bit with the emotional moments, but it's really well done. And so that's when we see this funeral happening in Smallville. You know, they're at the farm. And we meet Lana and her husband, who clearly is a douchebag and is going to turn out to be a villain by the end of this. Because I think this guy that Lana's with, they're going to end up having a divorce, and or Lana's going to end up leaving him or something, because clearly he's working with Morgan Edge. I think he's the one he's a douchebag. He tells Clark and Lois that, yeah, your mom, she kind of made some deals with us, so it looks like the farm is not going to be yours for too long. So it looks like they might lose the farm, because Martha obviously made a deal with the bank or something. I forgot right now. But there was some dealings going on where Martha made that she might give up the farm. But then Clark and Lois later on realized that maybe she actually wanted Clark and Lois to save the farm instead of losing it. Meanwhile, outside after the funeral happens and all that, we see that the kids, Jonathan and Jordan, they meet Lana's daughter. I'm forgetting Sarah, who they go into the barn. Because, the stories, their dad always told them not to go into the barn, because he has the ship still hidden there from when he was a kid. And when they go in there and Jordan starts climbing the beams start falling and they fall right on top of both Jordan and Jonathan. And Sarah comes out screaming like, "Holy, somebody help, help, your kids are in trouble." Clark runs to the barn, throws one of the pillars off, and okay, they're both okay. And Clark starts to presume that Jonathan is the one with powers. It could be both of them, but because Jonathan was the one looked like he was protecting Jordan, it's possible that Jonathan could have been the one who had the abilities, right? The super strength. So this makes Jordan and Jonathan very curious. Like, how did we survive? How did we just got a concussion and that's it? They are suspicious. So when Clark and Lois leave, they decide to do some investigating in the barn, and that's where they find the alien ship. And later, when Lois and Clark return, Clark reveals to both of them that, okay, yes, I am your father. I am Superman. Okay, I came from Krypton. He starts unloading all this information on them, which gets them a little upset with him. They don't really want to talk to him right now. They say, like, you know what? Give us some space. And then later, Jordan and Jonathan go to a party at night, a camp party at night, fire. And there, some trouble happens, and they get into a fight. And all of a sudden, during the fight, while they're being beaten, Jordan lets out some laser eyes. You know, this, when Superman shoots out his laser eyes, that happens. Meanwhile, I should also mention Superman's been tracking down. He's been taking care of these places with the nuclear plants. They established one in the beginning where they even do a Superman 3 reference. And by having Superman bring the ice, the whole island of ice to the nuclear plant to cool down the place and before it explodes, right? Before a huge explosion happened. That is a reference to Superman 3 because I just had a Superman marathon, all the movies and some of the shows, pilots and stuff like that. And that happens, I remembered, in Superman 3. So I thought that was a cool little Easter egg right there. That was probably one of the more obvious Easter eggs. So Superman's learning about this we don't know who it is, but it's an armored character that that is trying to get Superman's attention, and he's even leaving Kryptonian messages and all that. And we don't know who this person is. Superman, even while Jonathan and Jordan are at that party, Superman goes out and has a big battle with this guy, and the battles are pretty good, man. In this show, I'm telling you, some of the Superman stuff that we got in this was pretty cool. My only concern is that when the CW has a show on the air for too long, the budget starts to go down a bit. I'm hoping that doesn't happen with this show, because if it continues to feel like a movie week after week or season after season, depending on how long they keep the show on, which I hope, I would like to see this show go on for at least 6 seasons, 5 to 6 seasons. I hate that the CW stretches their shows for too long. And I would like their shows to, I don't know how many episodes this season has. I'm hoping for at least 10 to 13 episodes. I think that's a nice amount of episodes you could have, but we'll see. I'll watch if the season continues to have this kind of quality, I'll watch whatever they give me, because it looks fantastic so far. So Superman has this battle at the end with this character, and it gives some clues at who he could be. And my first thought was that it was going to be revealed to be Zod. And boy, was I wrong, because he said he was from Krypton, which I was like, okay, so if he's from Krypton, I mean, that Brainiac was another one that I thought, but when he was saying that he has ties to Superman, it did make me wonder, like, okay, so it has to be a Kryptonian, right? But as Superman's battling him, he gets stabbed with the kryptonite from this guy. up in space, and Superman falls all the way down. He manages to wake up in time to pull the kryptonite out and heal and fly off before he has a terrible crash with a car. So he gets back home. Obviously, he finds out about the situation with his kids. He goes to see if the kids are all right, and that's where he learns that Jordan is the one with powers and not Jonathan. I do think Jonathan, however, is going to have powers down the line. I don't know the characters very well. I don't know the characters at all. I did learn that they are in the comics. So I don't know if they have power. Both of them are supposed to have powers or not, or one is supposed to and one is not. But I'm going to guess, as someone who's never known anything about these characters, I'm going to guess Jonathan is eventually going to get powers too. I am worried that they're going to take Jordan down a dark path, which I don't think we really need. I think he needs some mentoring, like Clark talked to him about, like, hey, I'm gonna help you out a little bit more, okay? I'm gonna be there for you. I know I haven't been there for you very much, but I'm gonna be there for you now. I think that's what should happen, and Clark helps his son manage not only his powers, but maybe some, help him with his anxiety as well. I think that would be cool to see, because everybody needs a little help here and there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how all of this unfolds. And then we get that one little thing where we see in the Arctic, there's a ship there, and we see the armored guy flying down, and he goes in, he's talking to the ship's computer, and the ship's computer is like, we're gonna need more kryptonite, and he says yes, and then the computer, the computer system, acknowledges him as Captain Luthor, and I'm like, wait, what? And you do see the bald head when he takes down the helmet, so I'm like wondering now, wait a minute, is this Lex Luthor, or are they using this name like? I mean, I guess it would have to be, right? He's bald and he has... But then again, we know John Cryer is Lex Luthor in this universe. When Oliver restarted the universe, Lex Luthor was played by John Cryer. I'm a little confused by this on where they're going with this. But I am intrigued at the same time. Is this a Lex Luthor from the future, maybe? I mean, that could be very possible. He did sound a lot older, so he didn't sound like he was a young Lex Luthor. How did he get these abilities? Why is he tying himself to Krypton? I don't know. Or is Superman and Lois going to forget everything that happened in the Arrowverse and just like, we're gonna forget John Cryer? Which I hope not, because I thought John Cryer as Lex Luthor was fantastic. For what we got in him in Supergirl. And I think if you put him in a show like this, that's even better quality. Holy shit. I think we could get one of the best Lex Luthors of all time. And he's already up there for me with Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor. I said that the television versions of Lex Luthor have been so much better than the movies versions of that character. And again, if this is the Lex Luthor that we know, maybe, and I had to put on the captions to see if I heard that right, if it was actually Captain Luthor. And yeah, the computer acknowledges him as Luthor. The words came up on the screen and said Luthor. Yeah, so I wasn't dreaming. And look, I'm excited. I'm a huge Superman fan. Superman and Batman are my top two. I know that might be a little... like, people roll their eyes. It's like, oh yeah, of course, Superman and Batman, they're the most popular superheroes of all time. Yeah, well, I see why they're very popular, because they are great characters, and I think Superman definitely is one that he has worked really well on television. I saw an article say that, and yeah, it's true. When you look at Superman's past iterations on television, I mean, Lois and Clark was a very successful television show. The Adventures of Superman with George Reeves, very successful. Apparently the Superboy series was also successful when that aired. And Smallville, of course, the last Superman series we had on television, was a very successful show when it started. So Superman works really well on television, and I hope this one continues, and it has potential to probably be the best version of Superman on television. Look, let's not have the debate about who's better, Henry Cavill or Tyler Hoechlin. We can enjoy both of them differently. One can be the Superman in the theaters, which it looks like that's what they're doing, and this one can be the Superman for television. And look, as long as they keep the quality really good, like this pilot episode was, I hope it's not just the pilot. I think it will be the rest of the season. But if they keep coming back for multiple seasons, then they better keep the quality up to this standard. Because I don't want this to be like, The Flash, I thought was one of the best single seasons. That first season of The Flash was one of the best. If Superman and Lois can be like that, but for every season, I would love that. Because Flash, after the first season, I felt that I think the show is good, but it has never been as good as that first season of The Flash. And that's my worry. And I noticed Greg Berlanti helped out with the story with this episode. And if you go back and look at the early credits of Arrow and Flash and Supergirl, he was involved with the storylines in those seasons too. He got a story credit for a lot of those episodes in the early seasons. And then I noticed as he started going on to other things, helping out with other shows and getting them started, and not that much involved anymore, I noticed that's when the quality on some of the shows dipped. Now, Arrow found itself back up, but I think that was because Mark Guggenheim, who is good friends with Greg Berlanti, was still involved with Arrow, and he was also involved with Legends of Tomorrow. So I think that's why those two shows managed to stay afloat for me. We'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping I'm wrong. So I'm hoping for the best for this show, because right now it has restored my faith in the Arrowverse. Not that I was really losing faith, but like Batwoman, for an example, I'm on the fence. This might be the last season of Batwoman I might check out, and then if it doesn't improve by then, I might let it go. But Superman and Lois, I wanted to stay this consistent through on out. Okay, maybe once in a while get a bad episode here and there, but I would love it if they just contained this level of quality. So we'll see. With that being said, guys, I think this is a worthy pilot to check out. Hopefully it stays consistent. We'll see. Until next time, everybody, leave down your comments below and tell me what you thought of this episode. Do you think this is a worthy successor to the Arrowverse, or do you think that maybe they should distance themselves? Because I'm really liking how standalone this was. I like it when it's all connected, as long as most of them are really up to par with the rest of the universe that they have established already. And I think Superman and Lois is going to be a great entry. So with that being said, I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, take care.